Okay, so before I get swatching all of these, I did want to do a little bit of a sharpening test. One complaint I have heard from quite a few of my subscribers is that they get a lot of breakage. Now, I'm not gonna lie, some of mine did arrive broken. For example, if I can get it out, this one here, this one was broken, as you can see, when it arrived. But I'm going to sharpen it and see what's going on, because from the looks of it, there we go, camera, it's pretty on center. So let's sharpen. I'm just going to use my Doll 133. Actually, I prefer to use this one. All right. So the wood sharpened beautifully. I do notice we have a little bit, so it's a tiny bit off center, but you know, of course, now that I've sharpened it, I am going to lose a little bit of you know, square footage, as I'll call it. So as you can see, look, I've got end to end here, but this is how much shorter it's going to be. That said, they all come like this with a blunted edge, okay? Now this one was broke, so it had to be resharpened. This one was not, so we're going to sharpen this one. Okay. Now we will line them back up. And as you can see, I really didn't lose as much real estate as you think. This one is a teensy bit shorter, but again, it was broken. I had to sharpen it. And this one here, because I'm going from this rather blunted edge and sharpening it up, I'm losing the wood. But look at how close the lead is to each other. So I've taken off the wood here, and yes, you do lose obviously a little bit of lead here, but mostly you're taking off the wood that's surrounding that lead core. And I'm not losing as much colored pencil. It's more just the wood that's coming out. And the reason I bring that up is because I've had a few people who have messaged me about, one, these break, you know, they lose a lot of pencil. But I wanted to show you that when you sharpen a pencil, no matter what, it's going to, you know, you're going to lose wood. It's going to be shorter. But when I compare it to its factory partner here, if you were just going off the paint lines, then you're like, oh my gosh, I lost a ton. But if you're going off here, I did not, oops, let's get those back and even. I didn't actually lose much in terms of length of the lead, and that is what matters. Whew! All right, so now what I plan to do is I'm going to swatch these. I'm going to do this sped up because I have to go through every single case. So I'm going to have every single case open in front of me on my desk. Hopefully you guys don't mind the fact that you're going to see me reaching across, but it's about the only way I can pull this off, I think. And even then, I have to keep the lids closed so I can remember what's what. No, actually, I'm going to put a sticky note on the inside so I remember which one it is. And then we'll see how this chart works out. So yeah, this will all be a sped up process for you. So hopefully you're not watching me do this. And then in the end, I will talk about my experience, what I thought. I'm not going to sit and sharpen every single one of these. I'm going to totally swatch with what they came with, unless there's one that's broken. Like this one is one I would probably sharpen. Plus I'm seeing some broken wood there. So I'm going to sharpen that no matter what. So yeah, there will be a couple I sharpen, but for the most part, I'm just going to swatch them as is. So let's get to it. Okay, I have swatched them all. I have a whole bunch of empty tins. So here, between these 5 tins, you get 120 colors. Now, they do have those 2 sets of 12 that are in addition to these. One is a pastel, one, I can't remember the name of it, but they're like impossible to find. Speaking of, if any of you happen to have those and you're willing to sell them to me or gift them to me or whatever, I'd love to get my hands on them. Just curiosity's sake. So I'm gonna start off by saying I had only 3 broken pencils out of 5 tins of 24, and these were pretty crappily wrapped and even delivered. A lot of them came in envelopes, just those bubble wrap mailers that Amazon uses. So considering that and the fact that there wasn't any padding inside the tin, I only had 3 that had broken tips, but they sharpened and they were completely fine. No more breakage. They are pretty smooth. Like, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I went in thinking these were going to be crap. Because that's all I've heard about these is people don't like them. There's breakage. And maybe it's because I think a lot of similar to Color Soft from Derwent. Bigger chunky pencils, bigger lead, but the Color Soft for me break a lot too. These color blends, though, from Spectrum Noir, I actually really like. Now, I went in super negative, so I'm coming out of this, like, very impressed. As you can see here, I accidentally swapped those. My friend's chart is actually a great color order. So what I'm going to have her do is we'll make a couple of edits, but I'm going to see if she'll put this up in her Etsy store for you guys to purchase and download, support those small shops. But the color order seems to be spot on. Now, if you want me to be honest with you, say you are going to go buy these, I'd actually only bother with 3 tins. The 3 tins would be the primaries, the naturals, and the florals. But that's because those are what I like to color. The shade and tone has a lot of blue, purple, and most of your browns are in the shade and tones, but you still get some in the primaries and naturals. So don't worry about that. But just keep that in mind. If you need a lot more browns, then yeah, you might not be as happy, but you still get enough with the primaries and the naturals and tons of greens. So those 3 tins are the 3 I would recommend if you didn't want to buy all of them, because they are a pain in the butt and these are not open stock. So, you want to replace one, it's kind of like Black Widow. You got to buy the whole tin. Yes, I know you can get Black Widow technically open stock by, emailing them and ordering them. But for me, it's not economical to pay shipping from Australia for 2 pencils. So even with Black Widow, I repurchased the tin. So would I use these a ton to justify repurchasing the tin? Yeah, they went down pretty smooth. I had a couple scratchies here and there, especially in the greens. But, it's hard to find a brand of wax predominant pencils that aren't scratchy in the green section, especially the darker greens, unless you're talking about Prisma. Prisma is faultless. I'm not biased at all. But no, I was really impressed at the color range. I mean, look at these greens though. It's hard to find a set that has a really good range of greens. Often they kind of, give you just a few cool, a few warm, and then you're like, well, what am I going to do with this? But I really, really like this. I mean, we've got our olivey greens that look perfect blending order right there. Woohoo! We even have our little blue greens. This entire range here, all perfect, can work together. Loads of freaking pinks for florals. The blues are great too. And they didn't go overboard with the blues, which I appreciate, because a lot of 120 sets like just oversaturate you with blue, and you're kind of like, well, thanks guys, but I need other colors. Perfect range of browns. Honestly, this is an excellent range of browns. I really like these natural colors here. They didn't waste anything. I mean, look at this. Beautiful range. They gave you some grays, warm, cool grays in here, even kind of a French gray. So I like that. You know, they have a white, and then snow is kind of like a very off-white, but just barely. And then linen, same thing. Like snow has a touch of pink in it, whereas linen's more on the yellow side. But really, those are ones I think they could have gotten rid of or changed out. Not super impressed. Eggshell's a great color, but I'm seeing skin tone colors everywhere for all ethnicities. Now the one thing I would complain about is purples, but most sets lack in purples, especially when you have only 120 colors. That seems to always be where we just get, well, shorted. That said, I like the purples they have selected here, and I have a lot of red violets that will play nicely with these. The yellows, we do have a lot of yellows in here. Daffodil and lemon, I think they could have probably taken away one of those. Bumblebee, I know looks a lot like it, but it's just slightly different. So, you know, you have that. But, again, I'm actually impressed by these. I would buy these again, and I will use them. They kind of remind me, so they're a little harder, but not quite. They're still soft. They're kind of a combination between Caran d'Ache Pablo and Derwent Color Soft. So picture a pencil in between those two. You know, the Color Soft are soft and crumbly, but they don't smush like a Prisma. They do require layering. The Pablo is a pretty hard pencil that requires layering, but still softish. I mean, because my definition of soft is a Prismacolor. Softish. So these are kind of in between those two. But yeah, I like these. It's just a shame that the only way to get them is to buy these stupid 24 count sets. But I don't think they're discontinuing them, considering they did a Jazza box where Jazza took colors from all of these and created his own 24 count set. So I don't think they would be discontinuing the line if they're having artists curate sets. But without them being open stock, that is a bummer. And because, you know, I have other pencils I like, at the moment, because this is just a first impressions video, rather it is an in-depth one, but at the moment I wouldn't go and replace a tin. However, I'm going to color with these. The first thing I thought of was these might just be perfect for hair, because they lay down smooth enough to give you a nice, you know, coverage. But they're not super opaque. And because they sharpen well, have a nice sharp point, and the color range, I might like these for hair. So I'm going to try them for that. I'm going to try coloring with them. So a full review is down the road, but you all know me. I take as long as I take for full reviews. 6 months, a year. I don't give you my review until I'm confident I can give you a full review and, you know, back what I say. But with my first impressions video, I am trying to get a little more in depth, so in case you're waiting 6 months for a review, you have a good idea. So yeah, I am going to get with my friend about adjusting a few things on this chart. And I'm going to see if she can get this up in her Etsy store before I release this video so that you guys could buy this chart, because this color order is perfect. Absolutely perfect. And I love the range of colors. And yeah, I am pleasantly surprised. I honestly thought I was going to swatch these and be like, guys, these suck, don't buy them. Especially because they were such a pain to get. And now I'm almost bummed these are such a pain to get, because I'm like, wow, these really aren't too bad. And Spectrum Noir, if you're watching, if you have these bad boys in open stock, that would really encourage me to get more of these. just throwing that out there. But yeah, so I will leave links in the description below to the tins. They are on Amazon. There are sellers on eBay selling 5-packs. I never recommend going there. If you want to, you do you, but I don't do that because I don't know if it's a genuine product. Who knows how it's been handled? Oh, so many factors. But I will link them in Amazon. Blick is out of stock on them right now. So Amazon for me was the easiest way to get these 5 tins. And then, like I said, if anyone has or can get their hands on those 2 tins of 12, I just want to see them. I want to know what's in them. So until next time, everyone, take care. Bye now.